chosen breed. You don't see too many like me, cause I am one of the reasons you do what you do. When you wanna be me instead of you, cause I am still on beat, showing love to the streets. Come on, you know me, cause that's who I am.
Ferguson wins 38-16 over Lexington Yellow Jackets. And it was East Series Cardinals winning over the Provincetown Grove Patriots 42-13. South Point falls tonight by 1 point. That's a ball game, guys. That's a
53-35 is the final at West Lincoln tonight over Chase, reports JP from the other room.
All right.
JP, make sure you you take the broadcast out of Andre's room. Okay, we good. All right. So, hey, we good.
Statesville wins 28-27 over South Point. That's a good. I wonder, did somebody go for two and miss?
It was 28-21, so South Point either missed the extra point or the two.
Yeah.
I do not know. We're going to pull it up online and check it out here.
Burt Whistle missed an extra point, or did they go for two in the win?
I'm imagining, because he's been pretty solid all year.
Oh, yeah, he's a solid kicker. I think he's a Shrine Bowl kicker.
Yeah. So.
Of course, we've seen Shrine Bowl kickers miss an extra point before.
2 point.
Will.
They went for two. They went for two and failed. 2-point conversion failed with 2 minutes to go. They went for the onside kick.
I'll give them credit. Coach Hodge had the guts to go for two to win.
Statesville was offsides, so it cut it to half the distance to the goal, and then they went for it and did not get it. Doesn't say what kind of play it was. It just says conversion fails with 2 minutes and 5 seconds in the game. So that allowed Statesville to recover the onside kick, and then they needed out to end the game. So that's how the Greyhounds finished off.
Wow.
The South Point Red Raiders this year. And guys, South Point had a what we thought kind of a not that great of a team this year. They got beat by Huss. They've struggled with Forest View and North Gaston. So
but they
not the powerhouse that they normally were.
But in difference to them, this year they had more injuries than a typical South Point team has. I'm not making excuses for them, but it's a fact, and that can make a difference in your season.
Well, kudos to that conference, that South Point, and it produced out of that conference. You got five teams in the playoffs out of that conference.
Ashbrook, North Gaston,
You got 5 out of the conference. You got 2 remaining, but they did put 5 into the playoffs out of that conference. So that's kudos to that whole conference, and that is gonna be all for. I think we only have one Gaston County school still in it, and that's the one that they say is a Cleveland County school.
Who's still in it?
The Yellow Jackets.
Who's still in it? Who's the only Gaston County school still left? Will, say it again. Say it again. I couldn't hear you say that.
The Bessemer City Yellow Jackets.
You dang right.
And their jackets are yellow, right?
Their jackets are yellow.
Yeah, unlike Lexington. It's so stupid. Maiden wins over East Gaston 31-21. So Gaston County might be 0-7 tonight. Huss falls to Hickory 32-51. So
I bet the Stovers and Maiden are happy tonight.
50 points up on them. East Lincoln finished off. They actually let Lefford score a couple times, so they got 13. So 49-13 was the East Lincoln final. And Ashbrook did get blanked at Oak Grove 0-34. Pisgah wins, though, 35-17 over North Henderson. So you folks following at home, the black numbers are your final scores. And reds are your scores that we still active / we don't know. Kings Mountain wins 37-7 against Smoky Mountain, so they'll be going to Reynolds.
I wonder, did they just take their foot off the brake over there? I think they put their foot on the brake
at which one?
At Kings Mountain, because that score was a little bit whoppy jawed, and then they scored 3 points.
I think Kings Mountain's good. I don't think they're great at anything. You know what I mean? Like, if you grade them on a 1 to 10 of everything, we'd say they're probably 8 or 9 at everything. And most teams aren't 8 or 9. So when you play teams, you're going, 37-7, but you play Crest and some of these other teams, it shows a little bit that if you can't get to those 10s, that, you might get outscored a little bit. And 37-7, like I said, Smoky Mountain's 4-6 coming into this game. Like, they had a losing record.
Okay.
So they should. I agree with you, Will. It maybe should have been worse.
I'm just wondering.
But Smoky Mountain's usually pretty good too.
I'm
though.
just wondering, did they pull some of the kids out and say, "Hey, we got a tough one next week. Let's rest some of these kids." And
Surely not.
They-
But you never know. You never know.
Hey, you better not do that
right.
because some of these teams will come back on you.
So let's see. Our top
Oh,
five.
it happened
wins.
to Shelby and Shelby Middle School in the championship game this year.
Well, remember last year, Chris
Definitely
playing
happened to them.
South Point, and they were really down and came back and beat South Point after they were down like what, 21-0 or
Yeah.
something.
Man, okay. Looking at our top 10 this week, guys. All 10 teams in the KTC Broadcasting top 10 were victorious.
Well,
This
that's
week?
because it's in the top 10.
The 11 and 12 teams lost to teams in our top 10.
Well, that's the way it works.
East Gaston at 11 lost to number 10 Maiden, and South Point at 12 lost to number 5 Statesville. So so Davidson was at 13. They won tonight, so they advance in the 2A over Lexington. So they advance. West Iredale was getting beat earlier. We don't have them on our scoreboard. I think the final that they did get beat, and then Shelby won. Burns won. Let's see. Bandy's lost. Chase lost. North Gaston, they lost. So they're going to end up with 7 power points. Lincoln did win.
Yep.
So they will be going to Shelby next week. We're going to have a
Oh, wow.
big game tonight. to talk
Von Ray
about that.
Harris
Oh,
is
boy.
somewhere getting ready for Pearly Allen.
Hunter Huss, let's see, next week, or fell tonight to Hickory, so they're going to end up with 6 power points on the season. Going through our top 25, Ashbrook lost. They'll end up with 5 power points on the season. Mountain Island, though, did win tonight over Allegheny, so they're going to add a couple more points to their power points. They'll move up in the poll. East Rutherford fell tonight up at Bunker Hill. Bunker Hill still undefeated, guys, on the season at 11-0.
Bunker Hill, you're 11-0. Guess who you get? Surprise. Guess who's coming to dinner?
That's what you want. You 11-0. That's what you want. Who knocked them out last year? I think they might have been knocked out last year by the Bulldogs.
Bull. Go Bulldogs. That's my favorite cheer in the whole wide world. It's only because I knew it Burns Bulldogs cheer.
Give me one second. I got to get them off the air for a sec, guys. I'll let y'all read through the scores
All right,
that
Will,
we have right now.
read all the black scores, Will.
All right, it was Eastern Randolph 68, Cherville 7, Mount Airy 55, Union County 3.
Yep. It didn't get blanked out like some teams did. Robbinsville, the Black Knights were victorious tonight over Thomas Jefferson Griffons. Squeaked by tonight, Will, 55-7.
It was Mountain Island Charter 27, Allegheny 22. It was the Swain County Maroon Devils 47.
You
Avery-
like that Maroon
I like
Devils,
the Maroon
don't you?
Devils.
Yeah.
I do. Swain County Maroon Devils 47, Avery County 0, Mountain Heritage Cougars 51, Carver Yellow Jackets 6. It was Star Mount. Congrats to Coach
Greg Lloyd.
Greg Lord for his win. Star Mount 35, Cherokee 7. It was Monroe Red Hawks over the Bandy's Trojans 63-13. West Lincoln pulls off a win and up there in Vail.
Heading for a showdown.
We're heading for a showdown. I'm wanting to see this one. That's a hot dog seller right yonder. West Lincoln, I was going to say Vail wins 53-35 over Chase, but it's West Lincoln wins 53-35.
The bad news is they got to go down to Monroe next week.
Got to go to, well,
Yeah.
mm,
Sorry, Terry.
Hey, that's why they play the games every Friday, though.
Yeah.
It was Burns 63, Pine Lake Prep 34. I said Burns was going to score 70 points in this game, and I think they pulled off the brakes, but they could have very well scored 70 points in this game. Bunker Hill 61, East Rutherford 7. Hey, congrats to the East Rutherford Cavaliers. Playoff season 2 years after not having a football team.
Yeah.
That's pretty commendable that they made it to the playoffs. And that's going to be, that team is still young.
Well,
Very young ball team. So
in the pregame show, I said they're like the phoenix rising from the ashes.
So they're going to be dangerous. You're going to have to keep your eye on if they can keep some of the kids from going to the other schools.
And most of these are the underclassmen.
Yeah. If they can keep some of the linemen and things from going to the other schools up there in Rutherford County, they're going to be dangerous next season. It was the Shelby Golden Lions 62, Mount Pleasant 14, Lincolnton Wolves 35, North Surrey Greyhounds 21.
How about them Wolves? Well, they have come back.
We have a black and gold versus black and gold next week.
Yeah. And that's an old rivalry. They used to be in the same conference. Like I said, Vaughn Lee Harris at Lincoln, Pearlie Allen at Shelby. They have clashed many times in the past. And once again, next week.
We'll see how it all pans out. Lincoln versus Shelby next week. It was Maiden winning over East Gaston 31-21. Community School of Davidson 38. Lexington Orange Jackets 16. It was East Surrey 42. Providence Grove 13. Let's go. East Lincoln 49. Letford 13. Oak Grove 34. Ashbrook 0. Pisgah 35. North Henderson 17. AC Reynolds 45, North Gaston 0, Kings Mountain 37, Smoky Mount 7, Hickory 51, Hunter Huss 32, and the Barn Burner Statesville 28 and South Point 27. Those are our finals as we have as of right now.
All right, phone caller from our Lincoln County Game of the Week broadcast. David Potter calls from the West Lincoln. Well, he's not at West Lincoln now. He's on his way home. West Lincoln wins 53-35. Hold on one second, David. Go ahead. I think we can hear you now. Yep, we got you. Oh, okay. Well, David, close game early on, halftime, and then whatever happened at halftime, Rebels pull away. Second half, 88 points in the ballgame over in Vail tonight. Pretty exciting game between these two teams and these coaches that knew each other well coming in. Well, who is the stars for the Rebels tonight?
Well, just looking at the scores tonight in that bracket, West Lincoln was very prolific tonight, scoring 53 points. But their opponent for next week, Monroe, scored 63 points tonight. Does West Lincoln have a shot at beating the Monroe Red Hawks?
No, Lincoln. Shelby's a 7. Lincoln's at Shelby. Yes, you guys are going to 5 Monroe. So West Lincoln will be up right. So
Well, the reason I asked that, Monroe beat Bandy's 63-13. And West Lincoln beat Chase, of course, 53-35. Is the West Lincoln defense strong enough to hold Monroe's scoring down and give their offense a chance to score? A good mix. Yeah. Well, Monroe is the kind of team defensively that really gets after you. The one thing you can say about Monroe is they're usually very quick, both offensively and defensively. I don't know if they can, and you've pretty well stated, I think, the key here is if the West Lincoln offense can play ball control and grind it out against a team that likes to score and score quickly, this could be a really, really close game. And so for that reason, don't discount West Lincoln Rebels against the Monroe Redhawks, although traditionally Monroe Redhawks really shine in the postseason, but they have their weaknesses, and a ball control team with a decent defense can beat them. Yeah, they become their own worst enemies. What it really boils down to.
Well, David, looking at the games next week in Lincoln County, I don't know exactly which one we'll do or which one we'll have. I'll let you guys know next week. But we do got West Lincoln will be at Monroe, East Lincoln is at West Henderson, North Lincoln's at Hickory, and Lincoln will be at Shelby. So there are your 4 Lincoln County matchups next week. West Lincoln at Monroe, East Lincoln at West Henderson, North Lincoln at Hickory, and West and Lincoln at Shelby. So 4 road dogs next week in Lincoln County. How you feel about any of those wins, or the county going across the board there, David? Looking forward to next week. Yeah, West Henderson won tonight, 55. Well, they were up 55-7. They won 61-15. Yeah, that was that.
Well, what's impressive was Ledford had a very good record and was an 11-point favorite over East Lincoln. And this is like the East Lincoln team that we were expecting this year, not the East Lincoln team we've seen several games this year.
Well, one quick reminder, David. Now, West Lincoln is still undefeated at home all time in the playoffs. Yeah.
Hey, picky.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. 100% right. That's what Terry was letting you guys know. That, of course, they beat South Point at home, and I can't remember who else they beat, but not going to be on the road next week. Going to go to Monroe, and the winner of that game will face the winner of Burns versus Bunker Hill next week. David, that's just going to be an outstanding game we'll have on KTC.
Wow.
As well.
That is a good one.
Yeah, Burns had 63 this week. Bunker Hill had 61. I'm saying the score next week will probably be 62.
Well, I think, you look at who they played and the fact they're playing each other next week.
Yeah,
I think that'll be much lower scoring. Bunker Hill's really got a pretty good defense.
Yeah, I concur with you, David. We were just having a little speculative fun there.
No, I agree. You see 63-61, it's like, well, kind of a pattern.
Well, all right, David. Well, I'll let you know what we're going to do next week. It may be Lincoln at Shelby. Could be the possible game of the week on Lincoln County. Depends on what we do here in Cleveland County as well. But you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy the weather and tee them up, hit them far.
We'll try.
All right,
and out of courtesy, David, we didn't even mention Oklahoma.
Go ahead and mention it. We got the result we deserved last week. The way we played, I mean, you get what you get. We didn't play well defensively. Jeff Levy did not. He went too conservative after the interception by Ethan Downs. Could have put the game away just with the first down. You don't run jet sweeps.
Yeah.
There were just too many mistakes. We got what we deserved.
Okay, well, thank you,
Mention
David.
it all you want.
If you get that Stacey Dale phone number, be sure and let me know.
I'll have to get back to you on that one.
Okay. I figured it was in your little black book there somewhere.
I hope my wife's not listening. I do not have a black book.
Okay. It's red. I'm just kidding you, David.
All right, David, have
trouble.
a great weekend, sir.
All right. Same to all of you.
All right, there's David Potter, the Lincoln County Game of the Week. Like I said, next week, Lincoln County, West Lincoln will be at Monroe. East Lincoln will be at West Henderson. North Lincoln will be at Hickory. And Lincoln will be at Shelby. So that's the matchups.
Kevin, what's your thoughts, first impressions on North Lincoln and Hickory?
Well, they played each other earlier this season, so I'm
Yeah.
going to pull that up and rely on all my past experience on that one.
Will, what's your thoughts on North Lincoln and Hickory?
I'm going to go with that one. Give me a second.
my thoughts are, I think that Hickory beat them pretty handily last time, did they not?
I think it was close. No, 43-14.
Yeah, close.
I
Close.
thought it was.
That was close.
I'm gonna take Hickory for 2,000.
Hickory for 2,000.
Okay.
I'm there may be highlights online. I'm trying to pull that up. You folks were wondering about that game.
But that was back when North Lincoln was sort of in a funk. And then later as the season went on, they caught fire and played some pretty solid ball down the stretch.
The Smiths water line broke.
Better
That can cause-
mute that for the folks at home. Trying to pull it up. I might be able to here. Get some kind of highlights from that game. Do what? It was in something.
They looked like they were stuck in mud that game.
Well, Will, I've got how about a recap of that game? You want to watch it?
Yeah.
You want to watch
It
the
looked
recap?
like they stuck in mud.
All right, so here's the recap of Hickory and North Lincoln last time. It was 0-0, and North Lincoln took off. They led in this game, Will.
That was the last time they led.
I don't know. I guess they led here. They almost scored on that play. Got down to the 5-yard line. So they played at home and still got beat pretty handedly
On the fast track.
Mm-hmm. They both play on the turf. Hickory's got turf too, so they've got the yellow up there too, like Lincoln does. So the turf stands out really, really bright. But these are just some shots from that game at 24-7 right here where Hickory went up, and there's North Lincoln with a big run. But so that's the matchup next week in Lincoln County. Gonna have some big matchups.
It was just some of Lincoln County's. North Lincoln's clips through. There was no clips on.
Terry said they beat Hickory, so West Lincoln has now beat Hickory, Chase, and South Point at home in the playoffs.
In the playoffs. When did they beat Hickory at home?
I don't know. That's just what my text says.
Terry, you can't be talking about 1970, 1875, Terry. We're not talking. We're not talking about the leather helmet days, Terry. I don't remember them beating Hickory, and I do remember them beating South Point.
Well, remember, Will, Hickory had a spell a few years back when they weren't very good, if you will.
Well, let's go through the matchups. How about that?
Let's do that.
And we're going to talk about what's going to happen next week. Well, I guess we give. How about instead of the matchups, we give the scores that we do have first.
If we got finals, let's roll with them.
We do got a bunch of finals. I mean, I'm only missing like 3 scores now, so I do have most of the finals. So the folks listening on the radio, I'm going to try to get through these pretty quickly for you. Eastern Randolph, 68-7 over Cherryville. They'll play the winner of Hayesville, Christ the King. We don't have a score on yet. Then we have Bishop McGinnis wins 50-8 over South Stokes. They'll play Murphy, who won 57-21 over Polk County tonight. Let's see if that Bishop McGinnis, the Christ the King. Let's see if I can get that Christ the King score before I go any further. No, I can't. The Hayesville,
That name
I don't
still
have
gets
that
me.
Christ the King.
No, Bishop McGinnis. Villains.
The
That name
villains.
still gets me.
Mitchell Mountaineers, say it right, 33-15 winners over East Wilkes. They'll travel to the Mount Airy Granite Bears next week, who won 55-3 over Union Academy. Thomas,
They're the Granite Bears. That means they move pretty slow, don't they? Because they're rocks.
But they're solid.
They're solid, but they're rocks.
It'd been a lot better if they were the Gummy Bears. I don't know what a granite bear is. They won 55-3. Robbinsville won 55-7 over Thomas Jefferson. They'll host the Mountain Island Charter Raptors next week, who won tonight 27.
Oh, they in trouble next week.
22 over who?
trouble.
Robbinsville?
Robbinsville's in trouble. Mountain Island Charters.
Mountain Island 27-22 over Allegheny. Vesper City wins tonight. Now, are we correct on that? The only Gaston County team is still alive?
Still alive.
How about them Yellow Jackets?
The one that Gaston County keep trying to give to Cleveland County.
Buzz.
Will, I
Buzz,
just
buzz.
noticed. I'm
They,
not.
hey, I guess they playing like Cleveland County right now because they still alive.
I'm not trying to
52
embarrass whoever printed these, but on the chart over here, that next to the last score there is Parkwood 0, Crest 53, and Crest is on the right.
Dennis, we're still in the 1As.
But on our chart,
Right.
Crest is on the left.
Right. Right, Dennis, we're still in the 1As.
Well, thank you.
okay.
Crest is not 1A. By the way.
Right, we're still in the 1As. We'll get there. All right, we'll get there.
right.
Bessemer City one night, they will host Swain County next week. The Maroon Devils won 47-0 over the Avery County Vikings tonight. So
AD's at Bessemer City. If you want to have a ball toss at your game, get in contact with me.
I'll tell you who to call it. I'll give you some info here in a minute. Mountain Heritage 51-6 over Carver. They'll go to Starmount next week. Starmount won 35-7 over Cherokee. Monroe 63-13 winners over Bandies. They will host the West Lincoln Rebels. Burns wins 63-34. They will travel next week to Bunker Hill, who won 61-7 over East Rutherford. West Lincoln won 53-35 over Chase. Brevard wins 44-13. They'll play the winner of North Stanley and T.W. Andrews. Last score I had on that one, North Stanley was winning 27-20. Shelby 62-14 over Mount Pleasant. They'll play the winner of Lincoln and North Surrey, which was the Wolves, who won 35-21 at North Surrey. Dennis, we talked about that before the game. Could be an upset there. Good. Yeah.
We're going to Google that and see how have Mount Pleasant ever won a game in that series. Because they've played a lot in the playoffs.
Google don't know the answer to that.
I'm sure.
Maiden 31-21 over East Gaston. Blue Devils will travel to Salisbury next week, where that's been the end of a lot of people's travels through the years. They won 55-21 over East Davidson. Community School of Davidson won 38-16 over Lexington, and they'll travel to East Surrey next week, who won 42-13 over Providence Grove. And now we got a caller on the line. Jeff Miller is on the line. Let's see if you got us in there, Jeff.
Yes, sir. I got you.
What's up, Jeff? Where was you at tonight?
I was in Vale watching West Lincoln and Chase.
You've just given up on Gaston County.
That's a lot of Gaston County action to be watching a Lincoln County and a Rutherford County game.
Oh yeah, I mean, I gave Bessemer City and Mountain Island Charter and North Lincoln, chances, because I did a poll this week, and the West Lincoln and Chase fans basically outvoted everybody, and so that's why I came tonight. I wanted to try and see if Bessemer City or Mountain Island Charter, wanted to try and give them a chance, but, I will go. The squeaky wheel always gets the grease. and I tell you, there was one big difference in this game, and it comes down to one word: turnovers. And, in the first half, in the first quarter, Chase had 2 consecutive interceptions that were returned deep in their territory. And, first play from scrimmage, after that turnover, West Lincoln goes up 7-0, and then Chase turns it over again with another interception. And then, West Lincoln went up 6-0, and then West Lincoln extended their lead 12-0. 2-point conversion was no good, and then Chase cut their lead 12-7, and West Lincoln piled back up on them toward the end of the first quarter, 18-7, and then Chase scored 14 unanswered points to take the 21-18 lead, but then West Lincoln stormed right back right before halftime to take a 25-21 lead. And basically, here's how the second half went. West Lincoln drives down the field, scores, and then Chase drives, then turns it over. West Lincoln scores again. Chase, turnover. West Lincoln scores again. And then Chase, another turnover. West Lincoln scores again. It was a 28-point onslaught in the third quarter, 53-21. And Chase did score 14 points to close out the game. But when you turn the ball over like that, it's deadly.
So basically, they walked
Still
away
there?
from the game with the turnovers. So it was a self-inflicted wound that got Chase out of the game.
I mean, because West Lincoln turned it over a few times too. I think West Lincoln won the turnover battle 6-3 tonight. Because those turnovers plagued Chase for a good part of the night. And, of course, last week, I'm sorry I didn't get to call because my phone was acting up, but I was at the Kings Mountain Crest game last week.
What were your thoughts concerning that game, Jeff?
Well, it was a close game in the third quarter, but then Crest just opened it up in the fourth quarter. Then, of course, same thing. 3 first-half turnovers did Kings Mountain in. And basically, when you don't take good care of the ball, it's very consequential. And that's like 2 weeks in a row I've seen it unfold right before my eyes.
Well, Jeff, next week, you're going to have to get to the only successful football team in Gaston County and show up in Bessemer City next week.
This is true.
I know. I mean, we got the Maroon Devils coming in next week.
I just need to be at that game to see the
right? We got to go to Maroon
Devils.
Devils. So yeah, whatever your fan, I don't care what your voters say this week. Bessemer City is the game to be at next week. The quarterback set the all-time county touchdown record last week with 8 touchdown passes in a single game last week. That's an Al Bundy stat right there for you, Jeff Miller.
And, it's my chance to cover a team that I have not covered all year.
All right. Well, I look forward to hearing your phone call next week to talk about the Yellow Jackets.
I'm telling you now, that might be a good game because the Maroon Devils put up 47 points tonight.
Oh, against Avery County. We put 70 on Avery County.
Then I forgot to mention, because I forgot to call last week, forgot to give Chris Medlin at Forest View congratulations for the 100th win last week.
Congratulations, Coach Medlin down at Forest View. Yes, sir.
I know they didn't make the playoffs this year, but, got to give credit.
Yes, sir, Jeff. Well, look forward to hearing from you next week.
How'd Watauga do tonight? I've kind of had them on upset alert.
I don't have anything on Watauga right now.
But what about East Lincoln winning 49-0, slaughtering a one-win team or one-loss team?
Well, it's 49-13 is what we got. It was 49-0. They let a couple late ones there at the end, according to our sources. But you're 100% right. Jeff, last week not even scoring a point on the North Lincoln Knights, and then a 9-1 Ledford team. A lot of people had East Lincoln dead to rights tonight, and they went down there and just took it to Ledford.
And Lincoln County's 4-0 tonight, and so is Cleveland County.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, Jeff. Well, you have a good week next week. I look forward to hearing from you from Bessemer City.
Hey, you folks have a great weekend.
You do the same, Jeff.
I asked Jeff Miller in Carolina Varsity. Usually does the Gaston County game, and it snuck up to see the West Lincoln Rebels and Chase this week. But again,
So now.
Go ahead.
I'm looking at this right.
Okay.
All but one, Gaston County is out, and all the Rutherford counties are out.
Well, it's Mountain Island Charter.
Yes.
Gaston County School.
Yes, Mountain Island is Gaston County, so we do got
Gaston
2.
County.
We
So
do.
we got
Mountain
2.
Island is still. They are in Mount Holly. That's a charter school here in Gaston County.
Yeah. Okay.
Last fully public school. We'll go with that one. Now, we beat Avery County 46-0, and the Maroon Devils beat them 47. So right there, it should be a really good game next week. It's the 8 and the 9 seed. And so
That's usually a good game.
should expect a really good game. And the winner, of course, would have to play go to Robbinsville if they can hold off
Them
Mountain
Black
Island
Knights
Charter.
is they looking pretty good.
What am I thinking about? Yes, JP, what you got? Tom Centofanti. I guess Chip missed it. Chip missed the call on that one. You just beat him, Tom.
Okay.
No, you just beat him, Tom. You're in. You're in,
Hey,
Tom. 63.
Tommy.
Okay.
We don't
Didn't know
normally
if I
get to
was on
talk
the
to you
air or
on
not.
Friday.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got to sneak in.
Okay, just wanted to call in and tell you a little bit about the game tonight. Pine Lake Prep was probably a little more passing game than we anticipated there in the second half, but Jeremiah Norris was the real story of the game, and he had to have a big game tonight because, Mooney was nicked up. He's in a boot all week. I didn't think he was going to play, but they got a little treatment before the game, was able to go. Thank God it was an easy night for him. I don't think he took a hit. He didn't try to run the ball, of course, but Norris had 3 touchdowns and 304 yards. So he's the real story of the game. And, Burns, big win for them, but big test next week going up to Bunker Hill.
Yeah, that's putting a foot in the ground. 300 and how many 300? How many yards?
304 unofficially. That's what we had him for. So, he just really ran the ball well, got loose. But, Xavion Wilson had a long touchdown run, too, and so did Eli Goodson. So we ripped off some long runs. Was a little concerned about the pass defense, but it might have been that's not something they really prepared for as much because I can't remember his last name now. It'll come back to me. But Pine Lake had a running back who I had over 2,400 yards on the season coming in. And, they shut him down. They held him under 50 yards, but passing attack looked pretty good. And I think there's some things for them to look at and film and break down and try to tighten up before they go to Bunker Hill next week.
Yeah, that's what the first round games for Tom. You're going to see some new things that you've been used to seeing because these teams ain't got nothing to lose, so they're going to put out all the trickery that they can. So, but we've been running. So now our tendency is 4th and 2. We'll run it. Now we'll pass it. So you sort of catch your kids off guard. But I'm glad the Bulldogs won.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. And yeah, they ran a little. They alternated their quarterbacks a little bit, and they kept them both in the game. But when one was playing quarterback, it seemed like the other one was wide receiver. We didn't really expect to see a whole lot of that, but had a couple of good wide receivers, a couple of tall wide receivers, but defensively was their main issue. Their run defense really was just no match for us. We had, Cameron, last time I had tallied it up, we were over 400 yards rushing on the game. So, whenever you have over 400 yard rushing, generally that's going to be a good night for you. So just hopefully we can keep that up against Bunker Hill. I know Bunker Hill undefeated on the season, and a big win tonight. I can't remember. It seemed like they scored like 63 points tonight. So high-powered offense next week. Hopefully we get, we didn't have Kamari Surratt. He went out of the Shelby game with a hamstring injury, warmed up but wasn't able to go. And then, like I said, Mooney has something wrong with his foot. Wasn't exactly sure what it was, but he's been getting treatment on it, and hopefully he'll get a little stronger moving forward next week, and he'll be able to go and be closer to 100%.
Yeah, also, I don't think Bunker Hill has played Cleveland County schools in a while because, they used to be in our conference years and years ago. They used to be in our conference, and we used to play them up at Bunker Hill, and that was always a tough place to play. No matter what the record was, they was going to play you tough. But now, since they got a decent team, I don't think they'd be able to see the speed that Burns give them, though.
Yeah, especially like I said, if we're at 100%, I like our. We got a puncher's chance to go up there. I think that there's a couple other things we need to bolt down on defense, and I was glad to see. Now the rushing defense was vastly improved. Just a lot better this week, and it was Bolivar. That was the running back's name. Couldn't remember it. it was Bolivar. If you look him up, he had like 2,400 yards, but he really was unable to get loose. No really chunk runs, no long plays. I want to say about halfway through the second quarter, they had -3 yards. So defense played pretty well till they opened up their passing game. And I think Pine Lake has got a little something going forward. I think that quarterback they were running at the end was a freshman. And if he's got that good of arm right now, the future's pretty bright for them. But, next week, big game. I did hear that a lot of the other local schools won. I know West Lincoln. I know Terry listens in. A big win for them. Shelby with a big win tonight over Mount Pleasant. Crest with a big win tonight. Kings Mountain, looks like the county went 4-0 this week. So just glad for everybody in the county. And looks like we got a lot of football to cover again next week, guys.
Now, Tone, did you have any doubt in your mind that the coach was not going to make no adjustments? Coach Devine, Coach Devine, he was going to make some kind of defense adjustments because ain't nobody going to run that ball on him like that 2 weeks in a row. There was no doubt in my mind.
They moved McGowan back to linebacker, and they said some guys were missing some assignments and maybe playing a little bit of hero ball, trying to make a big tackle and then being not hitting the gap like they're supposed to be, and then somebody bounces out for a long run. So, yeah, you're right. I knew. But sometimes, it's not about the X's and O's. It's about the Johnnies and Joes. And if Johnny and Joe doesn't do what you tell them to do, it doesn't matter how much good coaching they've had. But Devine evidently got through to his defensive front there. And like I said, much better job against the run tonight. We'll see how they stack up against Bunker Hill. And I don't know a tremendous amount about their offense. I'll have to do a little research and see what they like to do on the offensive side of the ball and try to get ready to break that game down. So we're ready to broadcast next week.
And that's another good point, Tom. Not trying to take up all your time, but like what you say, when you play a team that runs the ball, you got to be assignment free. If you are the safety, you supposed to have the pitch man. Don't try to attack the quarterback. Your responsibility is the pitch man. The defense, the linebackers, if your responsibility is the quarterback, that's who you go after, the quarterback. You don't go after the pitch man. And see, that's what, like Shelby, that got us in trouble tonight too, trying to sometimes play hero. And we left the dive hole open, and that guy went 75 yards straight up the gut. And he's still running. We ain't caught him yet. So,
yeah,
that was a good point, Tom.
You got to get the guys to do what you tell them. And that's the thing. A lot of these mommies and daddies sometimes don't understand is the coaches telling them what to do. Whether a 15 or 16-year-old kid listens, sometimes it's a little up in the air. So hopefully we'll be able to get through to our guys, and I think we are. I mean, like I said, I was so glad to see that improvement on the run defense this week. And, they're going to talk about that passing game. I know they've got some things to talk about next week, but just glad to be moving on. That I'm not going to lie, Steve, that Shelby game, that hurt. He got whipped pretty bad in that game. So just glad to see our guys respond after that game and get up off the carpet and play a good game tonight. But I'll leave it with y'all. I know you got a lot of, games to get to. Just looking forward to covering Burns at Bunker Hill next week, guys.
Hey, Tom, just give them that speech that you gave your soccer team. I'll never, ever forget that, and they'll be okay. Let that be your pregame speech, Tom.
I'll go down there and see if Coach Devine will let me give that one, if I can remember it. I probably got it written down somewhere, Steve.
Okay, brother. Appreciate you, man.
All right. See y'all soon. Thank you. Appreciate what you do.
All right, Tom. Thank you for calling in and covering Burns so well this year. We appreciate it. At least one more week and hopefully many more for the Burns Bulldogs on YouTube. Will you get to see them, not only hear them, but see them?
Man, who's they sponsored? Sponsor them?
I think it's a fireworks company over there.
The guy who be blowing the smoke out.
Yeah, no, that's Kevin.
That's Kevin.
You talk about the Burns fireworks? That's Dustin Ledford and the Contracted Pyrotechnics.
Right. Contracted
Pyrotechnics. If you want to shoot some, make some booms, big booms, he'll take care of you.
Yeah.
Right. Take you right up. All right, we're going to take a break. We hadn't took a break yet on this show, on the CSI Mechanical Shelby post-game show. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Shelby Golden Lions and the Mount Pleasant Tigers, Lincoln Wolves, and North Surrey coming up next week. KTCBroadcasting.com.
Once Upon a Time is right now. Escape to the Renaissance Festival, a time-traveling adventure. Huzzah! Celebrating 30 years of cheers. Saturdays and Sundays now through November 19th.
It's time for the Renaissance Festival. Shopping, food, men in tights. Hi.
New delicious foods. Eat, drink, be merry at the Renaissance Festival. Presented by Pepsi. Sponsored by Hedis Tita. New entertainments. Time travel to a land of legends. Jousting knights, mermaids, fairies, dragons. Oh my. Tickets limited while supplies last. Online only at renfestinfo.com. Save your dates. Oh, you'll love the Renaissance Festival. Save $2 per ticket with discount coupons available at Hedis Tita stores region-wide. Oh, jolly good. Don't miss the Renaissance Festival. Huzzah!
Few circumstances in life are more difficult than a divorce you didn't expect and the ensuing custody battle. Calder and Valentine understands your dilemmas, and they're there to serve you. Listen to what one client said. Blake and his team did an exceptionally good job for all my services. I used Blake as my divorce attorney. Anytime I had questions or a new problem arose, they were always there and happy to help. Blake went above and beyond and is highly recommended. CalderandValentine.com. Call 704-470-2440. Kind, compassionate service is waiting for your call.
With CF Moto, you have the power to conquer more. From rocky creek beds to colossal mud pits to wooded mountainsides, CF Moto high-performance vehicles rip through the toughest terrain with ease. Outfitted with custom-designed liquid-cooled 4-stroke engines and an unmatched assortment of standard features, the CF Moto ATVs and side-by-sides do more than crush trailheads. Whether you're looking for the ultimate adrenaline rush or a heavy-duty machine, you can take on anything with CF Moto. Available at Full Throttle Power Sports, 100 Indian Walk in Laurel.
Everything we do is in search of more go. If it can withstand 0 degrees, can it go -20? If it can run through 5 inches of water per hour, can it go to 6? We go. So it goes. So you can go. It's hard to stop a train.
Your train dealer is Forest City Heating and Air. Call 828-245-1379. Again, 828-245-1379. If you live in a mobile home, or maybe you own a mobile home park, either way, listen up. H&M Industries in Shelby now sells mobile home supplies. They have everything you need. Mobile home windows, mobile home doors, vinyl, and more. And with H&M Industries, you get wholesale pricing. That's H&M Industries, located at 3931 West Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Online at hmiwindows.com and like them on Facebook too. Get your mobile home supplies today at H&M Industries. Shelby Alarm has been in business for over 50 years, serving North and South Carolina. They specialize in residential and commercial burglar alarms and camera and surveillance systems. Let them help you make your home or business smart and secure. Trust the people you know to protect your family and business. Estimates are always free for new and existing customer upgrades. Call them today at 704-482-9896. That's Shelby Alarm.
Good evening and welcome to the CSI Mechanical Shelby post-game show. And I missed doing this last week with our Reverend Dennis Davis, our deacon, Will Boykins, our usher, Steve DeGurry, our youth minister, Kevin Hastings, and always your AV coordinator, JP. And on the line, we have got our bishop, Chip Carter.
There you go.
We
go.
Chip is somewhere in the middle of the Carolina countryside.
I'm getting lost through Asheboro right now. I was about to turn into the zoo and just see if I could see some of the animals on the way home.
No, you way out yonder.
No, they're all here in the studio.
Where you went to, Chip?
What's that?
What game did you cover?
I was at Cherryville versus Eastern Randolph.
Oh, Jesus.
He did it by himself too, Steve.
For real?
So he's the road warrior. He's the MVP tonight.
Yeah,
Everybody's gonna give
that's
Chip
what I
the-
told him.
the
I
pat
told
on
him
the
how to
back.
do that.
That's what I told him.
Exactly right.
Well, Chip, Ironman in their season tonight. Tough way to end it, having to play Eastern Randolph on the road. They did get a touchdown tonight. Tell us a little bit about the Ironman's effort tonight.
Yeah, it was. Eastern Randolph showed why they're the third-ranked team in the West tonight. I mean, I looked at their stats and before the game, and they lived up to their billing. They were 9-1. They lost their first game of the season, and they rolled off 10 straight with tonight. 5 of the games in the middle of the season, they shut out 5 straight opponents this season. They gave up 106 points total on defense prior to tonight. Half of those were in 2 games. The game they lost, their opening game that they lost to Eastern Alamance, and then last week they had an overtime 1-point victory over Randleman. 56 of their points, the 106 points they gave up were between those 2 teams, and it showed tonight. I mean, their offense and they've scored over 300 points up before tonight, and I mean they put 68 on the board tonight. They had 4 touchdowns in the first quarter, tacked on another 3 in the second quarter, and they did 2 in the third. Actually, were pretty sportsmanship of them. They got their JV team in the fourth quarter, and their backups, and they got them down. And once they got into the red zone, their coach basically just had them take a knee 4 straight downs. They wanted to let them drive into the red zone, and they wouldn't score. Our Cherryville just busted their hind end all night long battling. It was just quarterback Josh Ward was scrambling, trying to find open receivers all night long. Just didn't have a lot of time. Ken Lincoln, I talked a little bit about it earlier today, and Ken said that was kind of a microcosm of their season. If Josh had time, if Ward had time, he could make things happen. It was just a matter of if he was going to be able to have time or not. Eastern Randolph's front four just put pressure on him all night long. They did the same thing to the run game. Just hard for Cherryville to get any momentum other than that first drive of the second quarter. So a tough loss, but they battled to the end. They ran into a buzzsaw tonight. Eastern Randolph is just a very talented team.
All right, well, Chip, we appreciate everything you do. I don't want to keep you on the phone too long. You need to drive and be careful, and have a good night. I want to thank you for everything you do and helping us out here. Pre-game, post-game, Saturdays. Trevor Lyman tonight, you're the MVP tonight here at KTC for what you did. So we do want to appreciate everything you did, and we'll have you on next week somewhere. Just don't know where yet.
That sounds like a plan. I'll go. Hey, if you need me to go down to Southport, I'll do it. But just let me know. And I was amazed tonight. Cherryville played a team whose school colors were green. I didn't think Dennis Davis would allow that for any other school other than the certain school in Cleveland County. I was surprised.
Hey! The Yellow Jackets are green.
Yeah.
Hey,
we
bit us a little bit.
We don't discriminate. We even let the Packers borrow our colors.
I mean, we are the real green and gold. You know, so we the real Kelly green and gold. So we don't mind anybody else.
Chip,
don't
boast these guys. You ought to see them.
Hey,
Will grinning, and Dennis got his head laid to the side. So,
Chip, I just wanted to give you this score and update you. I know you were traveling and you didn't hear it tonight. West Henderson, 61. Irwin, 15.
Chip, out of respect for you,
afraid.
I wouldn't even call that score out. So when they was reading that score, I said, you know what, that's my buddy's school. I'm not even going to read that score.
Now see, you gave him a compliment. Now see what he did to you.
I appreciate the care and concern, guys. I last time I saw that West Henderson was up 14-7, I was like, oh, this might be a ball game. Thanks for shattering those dreams.
That's why I wouldn't tell you.
Anytime, Chip. Anytime.
I told you have a nice, safe home, and then Dennis had to say something.
Yeah, Dennis said.
That's right.
Hey, just don't wreck coming down 85. You'll be all right.
Hey,
no worries, guys. Got you covered. I appreciate all y'all. Hate I'm not there with you. Hold down the fort and enjoy the rest of the show. All right.
All right. We'll see you, buddy.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.
All right, y'all take care.
See you, Chip. Be careful, brother. All right, so
I will do, bud.
Chip Carter at the Cherryville Armor game tonight. Steve's in the house right now, so we're going to talk to him while he's here. So, all right, we got a break. Steve.
Yes, sir.
Tonight,
Yes, sir.
62-14 win over the Mount Pleasant Tigers. Congratulations on the win. That will set
You
you
would know
up.
the answer to this. I'm gonna let you go ahead and tell the
fellas,
game.
it wasn't easy as it sound because they had the ball control the whole night. We were scoring on one play drives. We didn't play assignment football as the coaches taught the kids in practice, like I was telling Tom a while ago. You have a certain person on the defense assigned the quarterback. That's his job. The down lineman stops the fullback. The linebackers has the quarterback. The cornerback has the pitch man. And that's what you're supposed to do. And if either one of them messes up, it messes up the whole defense. So they were able to run the ball some on us until we got, halftime adjustments. That's how they got the 14 points. They ran a fullback dive. They came out with trips. With 22 set. It's like two receivers on one side. And they ran a simple fullback dive up the middle. And the safety got caught looking in the backfield. And he was gone, 75 yards. And right after we had scored, they scored and made it 13-7. Then we got called for roughing the kicker. They moved the ball into our territory for the kickoff, right? They got penalized. They did an onside kick, Will. And if that kicker had let that ball roll one more half a yard, they would have got the ball right back. But it didn't go to 10 yards. And that changed the momentum back. And then Land Farmer, he hadn't been throwing in many touchdowns. I think he maybe threw 3 or 4 tonight. I only think he missed 2 passes the whole night. And then our run game, Christian Tate probably was over 100. And then our other running back, Jalen Tate, who's a sophomore, scored the last 2 touchdowns. And of course, Isaiah, he gonna get his. So after halftime, we shut him out after halftime. But it was a cold night and running football. And if you know the history of Mount Pleasant, they always play us tough. We don't never really blow them out because they just, I don't know, when we play them, they always give a fit. I think one time, if you look back at the score, I think we beat them one time like 52-35, something like that. So we're just glad to get that win, the win over with, and then they don't get no easier, brother.
I was quizzing Kevin earlier, and I was just wondering. I don't know how many times they have met in the playoffs, but they've met a lot in the playoffs. Mount Pleasant and Shelby.
Right. I think we played them back in 13, maybe 14. And one time we had a home and away series with them in the preseason because they needed somebody to play, and we needed somebody to play. So we were playing them in the preseason, and I think one year we ended up playing them in the playoffs too, same year.
I don't recall Shelby ever losing to them. But I do recall them playing them tough, but I don't recall Shelby ever losing.
They played us tough every time. They hadn't beat us, but anything can happen. So I'm just glad we were able to make our adjustments to get it back in respectability. And I wanted, because I was ready to get run the clock where it got cold out there. So we never got to run the clock till 2 minutes left in the game.
On Steve's 40th season as a coach, it got cold outside.
He gave up.
It was
He
cold.
gave up. No more.
I've never heard him say I got cold on the field until just now.
He said he went home to warm up before he came in here.
I went home. I did. I went home and got on me some warm clothes before I came over here, Will. After the game, I normally stay around, shake hands, gone. Because I wasn't prepared, because that wasn't the weather forecast.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I've known you for a very, very, very long time, and I know you've been on the sidelines for a very long time. I've never heard you complain about it being cold.
It won't help again, because next week I have 4 or 5 pair of socks on. And speaking of next week, we'll have Lincoln coming to town.
Yes, sir.
That's gonna be a good game.
And they've always gave us problems too. I know one time I think they beat us like 35-34.
I think they're gonna be a test for Farmer.
Right.
But I don't think they've quite seen a quarterback like Farmer either.
But the thing, when we hadn't seen a quarterback like Boss either. We ain't seen a quarterback like Boss either.
Not this year.
Right.
Steve, are you saying this is going to be a speed-on-speed contest?
Speed on
Listen,
speed.
Boston, he might be the fastest player in the area,
Right.
and
We're gonna have to have. We got to put a hat on. We got to do some assignment football. But by that time, come Monday, we'll have a good game plan for them. So, and I'm just glad. I'm just glad they're coming to us, and I'm not going there.
If you haven't got to see this kid play, actually see him on the field. Go see this kid.
He's the real. They say he's the real deal. He is.
He is the real deal. He's impressive in person. Looking at film of him, he's impressive. But he's impressive in person.
And then they got that. I used to call it invitation gold in black, with the yellow, with the yellow and black, and of course Von Ray Harris, and it goes back to Von Ray Harris and Pearl Allen back when I played.
I think Dennis was saying that
back when I played. It was a great rivalry because we was in the same conference then,
Oh yeah.
So we got to see them quite a lot, and it'll be a very, very interesting ball game.
It's going.
And Will, the reason I know about those coaches, when Chris started out, guess who we used to have to play? Pearlie Allen and Von Ray Harris.
Back to back.
And Cherryville, too.
Back to back.
Back to back.
Well, Steve, let's go through your highlights real quick before we get another caller. This is just 7-0. You guys went up here on the touchdown.
Yeah, that's Drew from. I thought he was gonna take it up the middle, but he saw nobody was on the corner.
Nobody over there
on the corner,
the ball,
so
right.
Drew went to the corner.
All right, that was Mount Pleasant scoring sideways. If you
Hey, look, he's running straight up.
He's running straight down.
That's the play. If you can run it back, is the way you can run that touchdown because you can't get it back. That's the play I was talking about where a safety got caught looking in the backfield. Look, he's straight up the gut. 75-yard touchdown run.
Got you. All right, that set up Shelby going up 13. Well, this is when you're going up 13-0 in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
Slowed up a little bit. He almost slowed up a little bit too early on this one.
Yeah, watch this. And again, gives him a little tag.
Yeah, that's Christian Tate, gentlemen. Number 21.
He can move.
Yep.
He can move.
Tough as nails.
This made it 20-7 Shelby.
This is the heart. This is the heart of this
team,
Lions offense right there. Isaiah's the heart of that offense. He's what makes.
Fellas, it doesn't seem like he's running that fast.
He's moving.
He's turning another gear.
Yeah.
Speaking of Bridges, Steve, has he got any offers for next year?
I know North Carolina Central. I think Gardner Webb is offered too. I'm not for sure. He don't want to commit yet, but
yeah,
whoever getting. They getting a tough competitor. Plus, he's a track star.
Is this Tate again? Made it 27-7.
Let me see. That's him. 21.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Tate.
So that gave the Lions 27-7 lead. Then they went up 34-7 on Mount Pleasant on this pass.
This should be watch this play.
I'm telling you,
Calvin Ramsford, sophomore gentleman. He's only a sophomore.
This big, ginormous quarterback they got sitting back there moving the line like that and getting outside the tackle box and throwing that ball downfield.
And lands on his sophomore.
He's something. He's got 2 more years to be dealt with in the county.
Yes.
He's a lot. He's a load.
Oh, there go Mr. Isaiah Bridges again.
41-14 Shelby.
And in the last 2 touchdowns, gentlemen, he maybe he can be our third back. Jalen Tate, number 12, he's a sophomore. Gentlemen, this young man runs hard. He's a real competitor. Sometimes he complains not getting enough playing time. But Jalen, if you listen to son, your time has come. He plays hard. We have to play him, Will, because he gives you too much.
All right, that's the Shelby Golden Lions tonight.
Do you have the last touchdown?
That's the last one I got. Is that one right there?
Yeah, the last one was the best one.
Was it 55? Who you got online? Paul Foster's now online.
All right.
Paul was up at Bunker Hill tonight.
Oh my!
For East Rutherford,
Well,
got
he can
beat
give you a
61-7.
scouting
So, and that's first of all, Paul, give us let's talk a little bit about East Rutherford's season and Chase's season and Thomas Jefferson. The whole county falls tonight. And then we'll talk about those Bunker Hill Bears. Let's start with East Rutherford and the season they had, going 5-6 and making the playoffs. What a year they had! Well, Paul, like I said, Rutherford County, none of them making it round 2 tonight. That's going to end their season and our broadcast here on WAG. You want to thank you and Jonathan for everything that you guys have done. May need you to help on some other broadcasts, maybe here in the playoffs. But real quick, let's talk a little bit about what you saw tonight from Bunker Hill and what they look like maybe going forward hosting the Bulldogs next week. Well, in that bracket, just moving forward, you got Monroe, West Lincoln, Burns, Bunker Hill, all in that. Then Shelby's still alive, Maiden's still alive, Salisbury, we didn't even talked about them, and Lincoln in next week. So pretty tough 2A bracket there. So you see Bunker Hill possibly making a run here if they can get by the Bulldogs next week. All right, thank you, Paul. You and Jonathan have a good weekend and a good rest of the year off, I guess. No more Rutherford County football for you guys. Thanks for everything you guys do for us.
Hey, Paul, just get you a pair of long johns and come and stand on the sideline with me.
Keep Steve warm.
Keep me warm, Paul.
You got to make sure he got some long johns because Steve said I was cold.
All right, we'll be back in a few minutes to give more scores and highlights here on KDC Broadcasting.
Right about you. All the scores are in.
All the scores that we do have are in. If that makes any sense.
It makes a lot of sense, sir.
All right, we're going to go to the matchups. I'm going to show matchups. For
You going to
next
show
week.
matchups? Or
We'll
you going to
show
go
ma-
with scores?
Well,
Playoffs?
both at the same time.
Playoffs?
So we're going to try to do both here.
Can't do it like Dennis.
All right. In the 1A, Mountain Island Charter will be facing Robbinsville, 16 at the 1. They will play the winner of number 9, Swain County, and number 8, Bessemer City. Then in the bottom part of that bracket, number 12, Starmount, will go to number 5, Mountain Heritage. Number... Corvion Community upsets Drone tonight. Wow, I did not expect that. 38-28 over Drone. Corvion is the 20 seed. They'll probably be going to North Rowan. Don't have a final on that one, but they were hosting the Elkin Bucking Elks, and Elkin's 3-7 this year.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna guess.
So
They weren't bucking.
No. Yeah. So we're gonna go with. So then we got Cherryville lost to Eastern Randolph. So Eastern Randolph will host the winner of Hayesville Christ the King. I thought we had that one. We got that one. They don't. Hayesville won that, so we got that one. So Hayesville will go to Eastern Randolph next week. They'll play the winner of Thomasville, the 11 seed, at number 6 seed Albemarle. And guys,
That's not now.
Oh, man.
That's real close.
Oh, man.
Well, listen here.
Thomasville and Albemarle is
Always.
they're real close. Yeah. So
McClinton.
Keep
and the
Vic away
Bulldogs?
from this matchup though.
Wow.
It's the Bulldogs on Bulldogs.
Yes.
Albemarle and Thomasville.
That's always been a rivalry, even way back with that guy named McClinton.
He's one of my favorite quarterbacks
You know what?
of all time.
I'm just
Only
glad
thing
God
about
is the God of
the
second
Bulldogs, them
chances.
they got different colors.
They do. They
one
do.
are blue and white, and I think the other one red and white.
That is correct. So
Yeah.
I'm
it's
just
gonna be a
sitting over
Bulldog.
here listening, Will.
Going to be a Bulldog fight. Now, let's see. Bishop McGinnis, South Stokes. Murphy won, and Bishop McGinnis won, I believe, make sure. Bishop McGinnis won 50-8. Murphy 57-21. So that means Murphy will travel to Bishop McGinnis next week, 10 at the 7 seed. In the bottom part of that bracket, Mitchell won tonight over East Wilkes. So they will go to Mount Airy next week. So Mount Airy will be hosting East Wilkes next
Mitchell
week.
and Mount Airy, Will. That's going to be a slobber knocker.
Listen, and that's gonna be
That's
like
a long way apart.
that's gonna be some old football.
Yeah.
That's gonna be 3 yards in the cloud of dust.
Mitchell County.
Reedsville, 58-0 winners tonight, will host West Stokes, who won 19-6, the 16 seed.
Poor West Stokes.
Brevard will host North Stanley, who won on a late touchdown, 34-32 over T.W. Andrews. So the number 9 North Stanley will go to number 8 Brevard, and they'll play the winner of 16 West Stokes at Reedsville.
Well, Kevin, you see that matchup, Reedsville and Madison County?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Madison was already tired. When they got up there, that's a long ride.
Yeah. Yes.
One part of the state.
Yeah,
to
that's
the-
why. Listen,
Yes.
you got to go the day before.
Yeah,
Correct.
Yes.
No.
The day before.
Yes.
That
You
Madison
gotta go-
County,
That's
that's
all right, man.
East Tennessee is what it really boils down to.
Yeah, right. Madison County. I mean, it's way up
That's the
there.
last county in the state of
And
North
say
Carolina.
no, like
When you go-
That's
right.
they're gonna have to eat breakfast and lunch.
Right.
Oh no! Before they go Cracker Barrel before we leave
That's
in
gotta
the mountains,
be-
and we'll.
So I don't know who did that
I-
matchup.
man, that's got to be like 3 hours
More.
4 or more.
But Steve, the North Carolina High School
And that's
Athletic
right on the edge of
Association says we're
Virginia?
trying to consider travel
That's why I
in
said
all
that.
these matchups.
That's why I said that, Dennis. I figure you catch on in a minute. That's the reason I said it. How's that for?
Oh well.
They didn't have a. They should have went yesterday. They should have had school
And you're a
in the
32
hotel.
You're a 32 seed. You want to travel that far?
Yeah, they should have had hit. They should have went there.
I wonder which
yesterday.
airline they're taking.
They, maybe they should just forfeited.
Maybe.
I'm looking up the route. It's only 3 hours and 15 minutes, Steve.
That's
a
by
lot.
car. But what about a bus?
Oh,
That's a lot.
How much, Kevin?
That's not
right. So that means they're only riding for 7 hours today.
And then you got to beat 58-0.
On the road again.
So that's one of my things about the money wise with the Athletic Association when they store all these millions of dollars, is that's where I think the money should be going. Is that when you make me drive 3 hours,
Provide me a charter bus.
Guess who's buying the bus? The state of North Carolina.
Anything
over 2 hours or hour and whatever hour and a half, you can't go further than Boone. Really, you need a bus.
And you got to feed these. And you got to feed these kids.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you stop halfway and you got to feed the kids. I know that's what we do.
And then they
do a
gonna
walk.
get.
You have to have another school that you know to do your
They're
walk
gonna
through.
get back at 3:00 in the morning.
And Kevin was joking, but on a trip like that, you need a pregame meal and you need a meal after the game.
Right. That's
for the folks watching at home, real quick. I do want to apologize. I didn't get Paul's mic unmuted for the online version. People on that radio, and we heard him just fine. But for the folks online, Paul Foster just called a few minutes ago and was talking about the Bunker Hill Rutherford County matchups. He touched on the end of the season for Rutherford County, but he did mention for you folks in Cleveland County that are watching online, he did mention that Bunker Hill is really, 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 really good, and Burns is going to have a handful next week with them. We're going to see how that he wasn't sure Burns could win. He even he said Bunker Hill might be the favorite in that game.
Let me make a bold prediction about next week.
Go ahead.
I just watched Bunker Hill's highlights.
Mm-hmm.
They look really, really good against who they were playing.
Newton Conover.
Bandies. They did look really, really good in those games. But I don't think they have seen the likes of the Burns Bulldogs. I don't think they've played anybody that's. It's one thing that you know about them folks up in Lundale. They gonna hit you.
That number 23, my Calvin. My God.
Yes, sir. They gonna hit you. And those guys is gonna come off the ball. They don't care if you 4A. They don't care if you 5A. They don't care if you 2A. If you get out there and get in front of you, they're gonna pop your jaws.
Yes.
And I don't think it. I just don't think they've had anybody that just was gonna come up and punch them in the nose and say, "Let's go." And I think the Bulldogs will come out. I don't think they'll drag them like they did this team they played today, but I do think they come out victorious.
And the thing I like you say, sometimes you go as your coach too. Coach Devine does a great job with those kids up there.
Absolutely.
Mario, Coach Bun, the linebacker coach. So I'm just, I'll never go against a Cleveland County team anyway, because I know the kind of brand of football we have in Cleveland County. So I'm predicting that the Burns will go up there and beat them up.
Well, Steve, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they've got a running backs coach up there by the name of Trey Harbison.
Right.
He knows a little something about running the football.
He a straight dog.
He put that ball up in his, and he can't get it
If
from
you
him.
don't know who Trey Harbison is,
Look him up.
look him up.
Mm-hmm.
Look him up. You better get a highlight reel somewhere.
What about his daddy?
Oh, man. What about his uncle?
Yeah.
What about his cousin?
What about all the whole Harbison?
That whole Harbison clan there.
Can you say cheese?
His sisters and us that outrun the average man. They
absolutely.
outrun a great family. I talked to Trey last week. Great kid. So trying to get his coaching together. First time coaching.
Yeah.
So Trey, keep it up. Keep the good work up, man.
And I
Real
think
proud
he's
of
in the. I think he's in the right spot. He's where his name is big enough to where the kids that respect him, but they know he played at Crest. So he's at the opposite school. So he's making a mark at the opposite school. He's not at the school that he made his mark at. He's at another school in Cleveland County, and he's making a big. I mean, you can see the difference in their running back, and he's only been there this year.
Well, that was the question I had. Why wasn't he at Crest? Okay.
Been there, done that.
Still got the records.
I think the lineup, the Crest's roster was full.
They got too many. They got more coaches than they got players. They got about 15 coaches.
I think the roster was full at Crest, and I really think with Divine, Trey's getting his best opportunity to be a coach. Do I see him being an assistant coach the rest of his coaching career?
No.
Well, you
Hey,
know,
he's eventually gonna
But do you
gonna
see him
press on.
staying at the high school level or possibly, you know?
I think his next move. I think he's gonna be at Burns. He's gonna stay with Burns until he get moved to another school.
well, what about Divine's son? He coaches at Kings Mountain. Especially Divine coaches at Kings Mountain.
Spencer coaches at Kings. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Now that's
yeah.
news to me. I did not know Spencer Devine.
Great kid. I coached him in Shelby Middle School. Great kid.
He really is.
Right. I tell you, right. Coach Divine, I know you probably get tired of me talking about you, man, but that's just what I think of him. You know what I'm saying? That's just what I think of Coach Divine. He's a great guy.
All right, guys, we got like 7 minutes to go through 4 matchups and 25 scores and highlights.
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all done reminiscing about Cleveland County?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go Bunker Hill.
I mean, we was talking about a matchup, and I talked about the matchup.
Send them cards and letters to
we ended up
Kevin
talking
Hazen.
about a Chris running back from 10 years ago, and now he's the assistant running backs coach for somebody who's going to get beat by Bunker Hill next week.
Okay.
Let's look at Monroe.
Okay.
We'll play the winner of Bunker Hill and Burns next week.
Okay.
Then we got East Surrey and Community School of Davidson. We'll play next week, and they'll play the winner of Randleman and Forest Hills. None of these schools are kind of we're used to over here.
Right.
Lincoln in at Shelby for the big rematch of former conference foes and tons of matchups in the past that were outstanding. And then Maiden will go to Salisbury, who Salisbury's knocked them out of the playoffs a couple times the last few years, actually. So we'll see if they can pull that off. Over in the 3A, Crest will host Statesville next week. The Greyhounds come into town. We'll see. That'll be a good matchup. West Charlotte won tonight. They'll be hosting High Brighton. And I think a lot of people say West Charlotte should win that one, but we'll see if High Brighton can pull that one off. Robinson, didn't we say they were undefeated, Dennis, earlier?
Robinson?
Yeah, were they one of our undefeated teams? I think they were.
I think they were, Kevin.
And they host Northwest Cabarrus next week after winning 42-0 tonight over Northern Davidson. Central Davidson won tonight 30-27. They're going to Dudley, who put 63 on West Iredale tonight in a
Now,
big win.
that's a team you want to keep an eye on.
Dudley?
Down the road in the 3A, people who have seen Dudley
South
play,
Point.
they don't have a lot of competition,
South Point.
but they are they played South Point last year and beat them. But they say that this year's Dudley team, Steve, is better than last year's Dudley team.
So last year we thought Dudley wasn't going
That was
to lose to
actually
anybody.
Dennis. That was year before last. Because last year South Point played East Lincoln.
Yeah.
East Lincoln goes to West Henderson.
Surprise, surprise.
Friday night after putting 49 on the 9-1 Ledford Panthers. So the Mustangs will go to West Henderson.
Did they have a wake?
They went to Ledford. I just thought
Yes,
about that.
yes.
Hey, you got a playoff game.
open
Look
up.
who's coming for Christmas.
Defending
The Rangers
state champion.
In order to beat the man, you got to beat the man.
And they didn't.
But they got to go to West Henderson.
I mean, that's just a surprise. They got shut out last week.
Yeah, and they go to
The
West
East didn't
Henderson
score
who
a
scored
point.
61.
Yeah, they got to put up with that next week. I don't know what to think about East Lincoln. You know, David said on the phone, it's depends on what attitude shows up to the ball game.
And they got
Coach
that fast
Lee,
running back.
I really like how he handles everything. He just
I
takes
do too.
everything.
Well, get me a copy of that pregame speech of Coach Leibowitz. It
Ashton-
must have been a heck of a speech. Will.
I imagine it was.
Oak Grove will play, let's see, Pisgah. Is that right? Yeah, Pisgah won tonight over North Henderson 35-14. So Oak Grove will host Pisgah. AC Reynolds hosting Kings Mountain in another playoff rematch of years past. And then North Lincoln will go to Hickory in a regular season rematch in that matchup. So the two host the 15, 7-10. Not really too many big upsets across the board tonight. Just maybe one or two here and there in the later seeds, but no like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seeds.
I mean,
really failed tonight.
That East Lincoln that's a pretty high upset.
19-14. I mean, like none of the
Yeah.
top 5, 6, 7 seeds
Well,
in
North
anybody.
Lincoln-
I don't think lost on either the 1As or the
North
2As.
Lincoln scored 50 tonight, Will. Hickory scored 51. That's going to be a matchup.
100 points scored in the game.
All right, y'all want to see some highlights for tonight?
Sure.
To end the show here. We've seen the Shelby, so I'm going to scroll through them when we get to them.
They said that one upside down.
Oh, yeah, I know, right? Let's see. How about let's watch them from this angle? How about this? How about let's go Bessemer City.
Your boyfriend will be free next Friday.
They were.
Basketball's already started.
Let's see. Up there's Shelby. All right, here's some Crest highlights. How about there's a sack from Crest. It says the next play, a fumble recovery in the end zone for a touchdown. So they pushed them back and then beat them up a little bit more on the fumble. Kings Mountain going to the corner of the end zone. We saw this at halftime. Might be the catch of the play of the night. Show it one more time for the folks at home. High pointed it.
He got mossed.
Yeah, he did. He did.
And that's the kid that gave him a rough time last week. Throw 3 interceptions.
I'm going to scroll through the Burns and Shelby highlights. We've kind of seen those already. Here's South Stanley. They led 6-0 at Bessemer City, putting a scare into the Yellow Jackets early on. That was a Shelby score. How about Crest again? It's 10-yard run by Husky. Keeps it himself, going to the right side tackle. Nobody touched him but the goalpost. Smoky Mountain couldn't stop the Mountaineers coming out the middle.
Right in the middle.
Wildcat.
Steve, you're a coach. What's 25 on the defense doing here?
Going the wrong way. I don't know what he's reading.
No, he reads
this guard right here.
Yeah,
he follows the right guard.
You know, we used to call it a sucker play. You pull the guard and send the running back right behind where the guard was at.
That's pretty much where they went on that one. Mason Chastain, quarterback for Bessemer, runs it in on this time after throwing 8 touchdowns last week and setting the Gaston County scoring record. Docky returns for a touchdown for South Stanley, drops it. And how many times do we see the return man actually drop it?
Yeah.
And then he scores. Like, is that a setup?
It's like the defense is setting up to stop to trying to.
Got certain lanes we run.
Yeah.
They lose contain.
As soon as that ball hits.
As soon as that ball hit the ground, they thinking, oh, it's on the ground. Let me get it. Oh.
It's the weirdest thing ever. Anthony Smith with a touchdown here. This made it 12-12. He's the star running back over there at Bessemer this year.
He's the great big old running back over there at Bessemer City. That's a big dude.
Here's Green catching a punt on a hop and then taking off, and he gone.
4-6.
Where's the play?
And here's Green catching a pass. It's made it 27-0.
Where they play?
Hey, listen.
Where's they play?
That might be pretty good too.
The defensive back wanted pass interference on the offense. Will, watch him. He pushed off.
Where?
Where are they playing at?
That's Crest.
There's not many people there, about like 12.
Not for.
Well, we don't really play until next week.
Well, that was your away game. That was Parkwood. Monroe people ain't coming up here to watch the game, are they? All right, how about Kings Mountain? Another pass in the end zone. Deep pass down the middle. Made it 21-0. Nobody was guarding him.
That had to feel better for 18 tonight. A whole lot better than what he did last week. He had to come out of that game feeling a whole lot better than he did last week.
I think he had like 3 passes in a row was intercepted last week or something like that.
He had 1 pick 6. Pluto took one back. It was.
But then Crest don't have no defense either way.
There's Kings Mountain again. This made it 27-7. Shelby score. How about a Crest Husky to Mike Edwards?
Another one.
Rolling right.
Like they really need another weapon.
So, I Mike Edwards. So I was on the field during the Hunter Husk game. I was doing some video for putting it on my X page, and they kept running this one play. They was trying to run a crossover to Green. But Mike would cut in front of the cross, and the coach was saying, "Hey, Mike, that's not your ball." They go back and run. He run it again. He say, "Hey, Mike, that's not your ball."
This might be the catch of the year, but the referee got in the way. I don't know what happened here.
Who called it? No.
Kings Mountain called it.
Oh wow!
They scored. But it looks like the Smoky. That's what I'm saying. The Smoky Mountain guy had the position, and I heard contact. I don't know what happened. Aiden Carson touchdown run. This made it 53-0.
Oh, I love the way this kid run the ball.
Got long legs for running back. Is he a wide receiver?
He is a running back.
Yeah.
He they starting running back.
Yes, sir.
South Stanley scored again. This time, here's Anthony Smith to the corner. Well, he might have stepped out of bounds there, but I'm not telling the refs.
We had that one cleat over.
Let's see. Oh, God, he was 2 or 3 feet out of bounds. Oh, he stepped out twice.
I give it to you, but I'm going to take it back.
Yeah, wait a minute. Let's watch this.
Can you freeze it?
We're going to. That foot is on the line.
Right there.
Right there, definitely.
So?
And that foot, his left foot hit twice on the line.
Nah.
That's clear. There's some green in there.
Yeah, but the other one, he definitely don't like it.
Well, those lines are crooked. First of all.
I guess you would know.
Wait a minute. This ain't Shelby.
So you don't know if there's any room in there or not. That looks like he's touching it, don't it, Will? Yeah. Don't it? Either way, he stepped out at least once. You can't go by those lines.
Will, I want you to look at these lines. Just look at this.
Kevin, you probably painted it.
No.
Hey, at least they got all the numbers on there, Will.
Anthony Smith, a 42-yard run for the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, I had to. That was some of the conversations that we had.
Interview with.
Cool. One more game, absolutely. So I got this question for you. So you play linebacker and running back. What feels better, hitting somebody or running somebody over?
Definitely running somebody over.
So there's your highlights for tonight. All right, I'll let you guys give the scores as I wrap it up across the area, and you can get everybody out of here tonight.
All right.
I take one line. Okay, we got the Trevor Alman losing to Eastern Randolph 68-7. We got the Hayes Yellow Jackets beating Christ the King Crusaders 28-0. We got the Bishop McGinnis with the villains beating West Stokes 50-8. We got the Murphy Bulldogs beating the Polk County Wolverines 57-21. We got the Mitchell Mountaineers 33. East Stokes Cardinals 15. And we got the Mount Airy Granite Burrs beating the Union County Cardinals 55-3.
We got Robbinsville over Tubman Jefferson 55-7. Mount Allen Charter over Allegheny 27-22. Benjamin City 52. South Stanley 32. Swain County Maroon Devils 47. Avery County 0. Mountain Heritage 51. Carver 6. South Starmount 35. Cherokee Braves 7. Monroe 63. Randy's 13. West Lincoln 53. Chase 35. Burns 63. Pine Lake Prep 34. Bunker Hill 61. East Rutherford Cavaliers 7. Brevard 44. Trinity 13. North Stanley 34. Andrews 32. Shelby 62. Mount Pleasant 14. Lincoln 35. North Siri 21. Macon 31. East Gaston 21. Salisbury 55. East Davidson 21. Community School of Davidson 38. Lexington 16. East Siri 42. Providence Grove 13.
That was hard to read. That was small.
We got West Henderson Falcons 61. The Erwin 15. East Lincoln Mustangs 49. Lefford Panthers 13. We got the Oak Grove Grizzlies shutting out the Green Wave of a Gastonia 34-0. We got the Pisgah Bears 35. North Henderson Vikings 17. And we had a tough one right here, Slobberknocker. That's the High Brighton Panthers 41 to Tuscola 40. Then we got the West Charlotte Lions 21. That's Northwest Guilford Rams 0. And we got one more line. We got the Rockets of AC Reynolds beating the Northwestern Wildcats 45-0. We got the Kings Mountain Mountaineers 37. We got Smoky Mountain 7. We got the North Lincoln Knights 50, and the Rockingham Cougars, Rocky County Cougars 7. We got the Hickory Red Tornadoes 51, Hunter Huskins 32. And we got the Crest Chargers 53, Parkwood Rebels 0, and the Statesville Greyhounds pulled out a squeak one. They beat the South Point Red Raiders 28-27.
Local matchups next week. Gaston County, Mountain Island Charter will go to Robbinsville. Bessemer City will host Swain County next week. In Lincoln County, West Lincoln will go to Monroe. East Lincoln will go to West Henderson. North Lincoln will go to Hickory. And Lincolnton will go to Shelby and Cleveland County as Kings Mountain goes to Reynolds. Burns goes to Bunker Hill. And Statesville will be at Crest. Couple other local matchups. Maiden will go to Salisbury. That's about it. Everyone else has gotten beat pretty much in her area. Brevard hosts North Stanley. Other than that, that's about it. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Thanks for coming by the studio, Steve and Will and Dennis and JP tonight. Next week, we'll have... The one game we do know we'll have is Burns at Bunker Hill. The rest of them, stay tuned. We'll get out the schedule. Maybe tomorrow we might know. We'll know Monday for sure. So tune in on Facebook and Twitter on Monday. We'll have the games for sure that will be broadcast. It all depends on some other stuff. So we'll get you next week. We'll have 4 games at least here on KTCBroadcasting.com.
Good night, fellas.